Hello everyone, I am Nirali Varnagar, currently working as Assistant Professor in Computer Engineering Department. In today's session, we will learn about basics of computer programming. So let us start with what is computer. Computer is an electronic device that is designed to work with information. And computer is derived from the Latin word computere. Computer means a calculate or programmable machine. Computer cannot do anything without a program. We have to provide some of the set of instruction which is given to the computer. Computer is having a very nice speed, very nice storage of it. So computer is invented by the Charles Babbage, which is also known as the grandfather of a computer. The first mechanical computer designed by Charles Babbage was called analytical engine. Its purpose is for only read-only memory, which is using through the punch card. So let us understand what are the characteristics of computer. First, speed. So computer can process the data 3 to 4 million data per second. It having a high degree of accuracy and having a high reliability. Computer can work with the wide range of work, so it provides a versatility. Means suppose I want to purchase some product, I can work with the Amazon. Suppose you want to do booking some railway ticket, airlines, you can easily work on it. Suppose you want to make a nice presentation, so you can work with the wide range of varieties with the help of a computer. It having a higher storage capacity, so it can store terabyte, megabyte and so on. There are some limitation of computer, that is a lack of intelligence. We have to give some program, whatever instructions given by the human, that can be accurately carried out by the computer, but they are not having a brain like the humans. Unable to correct on mistakes. So suppose some human is generating errors with the help of computer, they are unable to do the resolving of these errors. So let us understand a block diagram of a computer. Computer consists of basically a 4 blocks: input unit, output unit, central processing unit, that is the control unit and ALU, and the last one is the storage unit. So let us understand that whole architecture one by one. So computer is made up for mainly 4 components, as we already discussed, right? So let us understand architecture of it by examples. Let us see in figure, you will see the input side, right? So here in input side, you will see there are so many input devices I mentioned, like a camera, keyboard, mouse, scanner. They all are the input devices. Now what is the role of input device? As we all know, computer can understand only a binary language, which is a zeros and one form. But we require a human readable form. We are giving an input in a form of human readable form. So input devices is doing input from the humans and processing in a comfortable zone of a computer. So there are so many input devices are there. Then you will see in a middle portion of it, we are portion in the microprocessor. There are so many microprocessor are 8085 starting with 8086 and now Core i5, Core i7, Core 9, there are so latest version available. The CPU is known as the brain of a computer. Without CPU, can do the communication with the computer. The last portion is the output device. In the output device, you will see there are monitors, speakers, printer, which take a data from the CPU and display in a form of a human readable form. So that all are the purpose of the output devices. Let us understand the whole architecture in detail. So let us see the first one, CPU. As we all know, central processing unit is the main part of a computer system. It contains electronic circuitry that processes the data based on instructions. It also controls the flow of a data in a system. It's known as the brain of a computer. CPU also consists of 2 main units, that is the ALU, arithmetic and logical unit, and control unit. Let us understand ALU. It performs all arithmetic and calculation and take decision based on it. It can easily perform addition, subtraction, multiply, compare, count, shift and so many logical operations. It calculates very fast. It takes data from the memory and return back data from the memory. Generally, it uses a primary memory. Let us see a control unit. So control unit is controlling the overall system of a computer. It manages all operations, it reads the instruction and data from a memory. So let us understand a primary memory, which is again a very important memory. is known as the main memory in a computer system. The processor or the CPU directly store and retrieve the information from it. This memory is accessed by the CPU in a random fashion. Generally, what happens whenever you are saving any program, suppose I am saving one file test.txt. This saving a file is happening in a secondary storage permanently. But while I am opening this file, I am doing something on it, this file is come back with the primary memory. It's known as a main memory. Its storage capacity is very small as compared with the secondary memory. It is a very fast to an operation compared with the secondary memory. So let us understand what are the types of secondary memory, how you can work on it. Let us understand RAM. The RAM stands for a random access memory. It is a volatile in nature. It means data might be lost in a case of a power failure or system will be crashed. It stores data on a temporary basis. So we require how you can store data in a permanent basis. So we need to refer a ROM. ROM is known as a read-only memory. It can hold data permanently. Read-only memory is also known as that is a firmware. It's integrated by the program which specific to the data when it is a manufactured. For example, BIOS. BIOS is also known as basic input-output system. There are so many types of ROM are available. The first one is a PROM. P stands for programmable, R stands for read, O stands for only, M stands for memory. It can hold data permanently. Programmer can store information only once. Modification is not allowed in a PROM. PROM is a manufacturer is a blank memory. So you require some burner to be install some data on it. Clear? So the next one is a EPROM. EPROM stands for the erasable programmable read-only memory. It can also hold data permanently. Programmer can delete or write on it again and again. EPROM is a special type of memory that retains its content until it is exposed to ultraviolet light. So if I am not exposing ultraviolet light, I cannot able to remove data from the EPROM. The ultraviolet light clear its contents and making it possible to reuse it, this kind of memories. So to write to or erase to EPROM, you require again a special device is known as a PROM burner. Let us see the third type of ROM is known as the EEPROM. Erasable, electrically erasable, programmable, read-only memory. EEPROM is a special type of PROM that can erase data by exposing some electrical charge. Like other PROM, EEPROM retain its content even after power is off. So it store data permanently. Also like other type of ROM, EEPROM is not fast as the random access memory. It takes some time compared with the RAM. So that all are the three types of a ROM, that is a PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. Let us understand the next section is a input section. So as we all know, in a previous section we learned CPU consists of several parts, that is the ALU and CU, and then we learned some of the types of ROM. Now the next section is the input devices. As we all know, computer can understand only the binary forms, zeros and ones. The device used to enter data in a computer system are called input devices. What they do? It convert human readable form understandable input to the computer control data. CPU can accept the information from through the input devices like mouse, keyboard, touch screen, joystick, etc. It is the most important part of a computer system. Third portion is the output section. In output section, what happened? Whatever processing is done by the computer system whenever to display in front of a user. The devices used to send the information to the output word, outside of word from the computer is now the output devices. It convert data stores in a ones and zero in a form of a human readable form. For examples, monitor, printer, plotter, speaker, they all are the example of a output section. So let us understand the last important section of a computer programming, that is the storage devices. Generally it's known as secondary memory, it's also known as the auxiliary memory, or you can say external memory. It helps to use data stored in a permanently. It can be easily modified, it can store large data compared to the primary memory. There are so many examples are there like hard disk, floppy disk, CD, DVD, pen drive. So that all about a block diagram of a computer system. As we all know, we discussed the 4 sections, that is the CPU, input devices, output devices and storage devices. So we will meet in next session. Thank you very much.